Hello, welcome to my channel. My name is Janani and today I'm going to show you guys how I created these cute Christmas earrings. Thank you Chocola for reaching out to me and sending me these awesome acrylic pens for today's tutorial. On the set that they sent me, there are 20 gorgeous colors and they are very versatile. I actually cannot wait to experiment with these markers. For the little elements on this project, I used these polymer clay colors. I ran the background piece of clay through the pasta machine on the 4th thickest setting, which is about 2 millimeters. To get started on the elements, I ran the green clay through the pasta machine on the thinnest setting. I freehanded some Christmas trees using my X-Acto knife. I created quite a few of these Christmas trees and added them throughout the background sheet of clay. Next, I added some textures onto these trees using my needle tool. The texturing technique is basically like hatching. They are small, close parallel lines. Here's an example on paper. Then I decided to add more trees but with a different shade of green. All the tools and supplies I used in this tutorial will be linked down in the description for you guys. Next, it was time to use my awesome Chocola markers. The great thing about these markers is that they have a regular tip and a fine tip that is interchangeable. To get started with these markers, you have to shake them very well. Then you have to continuously put pressure until the ink comes through the tip. With the fine tip side, I used the white marker to add the flocked effect on the trees. If you would like to grab your own set of Chocola markers, I have a link down in the description box, and also make sure you give them a follow. Another great thing about these markers is that you can easily clean it up with rubbing alcohol and a Q-tip. Since I cannot make a Christmas slab without Frosty, I decided to create some snowmen. I rolled 2 small balls of white clay, one slightly bigger. Then I pressed it onto the tile to create the body and the head of the snowman. Then I carefully lifted it off and placed it on the slab. I rolled a thin snake of red clay and created a scarf for Frosty so he can be warm. Then I gave him his nose, eyes, and some buttons. I think his face turned out a little creepy, but now that I look at it, I don't think it's that bad. What do you guys think? Next, I rolled some gold clay on the thinnest setting on the pasta machine. I cut some small squares to create wrapped presents. To create the ribbon wrapping, I thinly rolled a snake of red clay and created a cross. Then I created 2 little loops for the bow. Then I thinly rolled some white and red clay and twisted them together to create the candy canes. I created lots of these tiny candy canes and filled the gaps on the slab. Since there were a lot more empty spaces, I decided to cut out some Santa hats. I ran some red clay through the pastel machine on the thinnest setting and then cut out the base of the hat. Then using some white clay on the same setting, I added the white trim and the pom-pom. Next, I textured the white trim using my needle tool. I continue adding all the elements until the slab was completely covered. To fill up any empty spaces, I used Chocola's gold marker to add dots around. And here's a close-up of the final slab. Then I used my 3D cutters and cookie cutters to cut the shapes for the earrings. To minimize the sanding, I used some rubbing alcohol and a Q-tip to clean up the edges. I carefully used the X-Acto knife to cut off any bigger pieces. This step will help you do little to no sanding. I'll be doing an updated sanding tutorial for you guys on the next tutorial. I extruded some white clay to outline my pieces. After I finished outlining, I baked my pieces for an hour at 225 to 275 Fahrenheit. I like to do this because my oven is really old, and I'd recommend you bake some samples and find out your ideal temperature and time, and make sure you use the oven thermometer. After the pieces were cured, I lightly sanded the pieces and drilled the holes. Then I added the earring bags, jump rings. I also added a light coat of matte varnish to my pieces. So at the beginning of this project, I made a plan thinking I will stick to it, but I ended up not sticking to it even though I had some of the elements. So that's how it worked out. Anyways, thank you so much for tuning in to this week's tutorial, and thank you so much Chocola for sending me these awesome markers so I can create this tutorial for you guys. I will leave all the links down in the description box, and I'll see you guys in the next tutorial.